Yeah, no, it put me in a hole. It put me in a really deep hole. Like, I didn't want to go out.
Download the AllStar app. Make your picks for UFC fights, challenge your friends, level up and win prizes. Link in description. Get it now. The video of Nate Diaz, man, choking this dude unconscious in the street. Is that a lawsuit, man? Like, just looking at that video, because I'm pretty sure you've seen it. You know what I mean? That's pretty crazy, right? Someone that's like a multi-millionaire just out there acting wild like that.
I don't know. I don't know if I saw like much before the
Hmm.
choking, so I don't know what was going on. But I did see a lot of people, a lot of craziness. I mean, that's probably the safest thing he could have done to the guy because he could have picked him up and slammed him. He could have stomped the guy out. There's numerous things he could have done. So I feel like the choke is probably the safest way.
Yeah, but the way that the dude's head hit the ground after he let go, man, it's just
Fucking with the wrong one.
yeah, yeah. That's another aspect of it. Yeah, man. And it was funny to me that everybody thought it was Logan Paul too, which what it wasn't.
Yeah, right. Right. It was just some guys talking smack, dressed like him and looking like him. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah. I
being
mean,
Logan Paul getting all those messages like, "Yo, you got choked out by," you know what I mean? Like getting all that attention, negative attention as well,
yeah.
which is not even you.
Right, but I feel like it's Logan Paul's like his character as to why someone would do that in the first place, like look like him and go after Nate and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah. Was it a setup? You never know in
It
this
could have
world, man.
been. I
Yeah.
mean, like, how would he know Nate was there? Like,
Yeah.
how would he know when to dress like Logan Paul and catch Nate? You know?
Get deep, huh? We get deep
I
into
mean,
it. It's wild, man. The world is wild, man. I guess you just gotta kind of stay off the street and just live
facts.
your own life, man, because it's just you don't know what's out there. You, man, you're returning UFC 288, your first time on a pay-per-view card. You've been fighting at the Apex pretty much exclusively. Um, it's a completely different environment, man. The pay-per-view fight weeks. How much are you looking forward to experiencing all of that?
I'm very much looking forward to it. I'm excited for all these fights I've had in the UFC, and I'm experiencing all these new things, and I'm super excited to see what it's like. At a venue with actual fans. A bigger media staff. I'm sure because the other times I think we only have like three or so reporters on my. I'm on the prelims, so guys who are there that early or whatever. But yeah, I'm super stoked.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be nice. And I just think about the ceremonial weigh-ins, man. You haven't experienced that yet. You've had the weigh-ins like face-offs, in the Apex, but I don't know, man. With that crowd, it's gonna be
Is
super
Joe
hype.
Rogan gonna be there?
Probably. You know what I mean? Probably. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he is, right? He does all
He's
the
gonna say my name?
no doubt, no doubt, man. No,
Yo, let's go.
yeah, yeah, man. It's all part of being a fighter, right? Like being at that stage, at that level is as having all of that happen to you. You know what I mean? And it's
Mhm.
kind of like etched in your history. And when you have kids, you can show your kids, right? Like,
Yeah.
yo,
Like,
dad,
look, Dad, Joe Rogan said Dad's name. I'm official. Joe Rogan said my name.
yeah, dad did that shit. You know what I mean? I was talking to Zach Cummings because he just retired, right? His last fight in
Mhm.
Kansas City. And ahead of that fight, I was talking to him about like the reason why he was coming back because he had a crazy injury that pretty much he was bedridden for months and stuff like that. But the main reason was because of his daughter. His daughter would tell him, "When are you gonna be out there doing this?" You know what I mean?
He's
Kind of
probably
like
watching the fights at home every weekend.
yeah,
Sheesh.
basically challenging him. He's all like, "Man, I gotta get out there one last time," and he did it, man. It was really like to me, it's like the best way to go out, right? Is to just go win your hometown too. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely one of them. That's for sure. Yeah, no, that's a great way to go. I mean, they fuck around and put him in the Hall of Fame just because of that.
Yeah, do it, man. Do it. There's no criteria. There's no criteria. Just do
Basically,
it.
not.
Yeah. Uh, Claudio Ribeiro, right? Thoughts on him and his skill set?
I think he's a tough guy, man. I think he has the right type of tools to lead to a fun-looking fight, and that's the type of fight that I've been wanting to put on, bangers, like where we're, having some fun out there. So I'm excited, dude. He's gonna throw leather. I know when I crack him, he's not gonna try and grab me. He's gonna keep throwing. So I'm super duper excited.
A fighter, when they look at an opponent, they can test your toughness and then they can test your skill set. Like, what is more attractive to you when you're heading into a fight?
Test my skill set for sure. I want to see. I want to when I see a potential fight, I want to see that they can bring out a side of me at this point in my career that I haven't shown. I'm still very new. So when I saw him on paper, I instantly knew, yeah, because for starters, I haven't fought a brawler before. I fought a few strikers, but none of them were like knocking people out the way he is. So yeah, I feel like he's gonna bring out a side of me that I haven't got to show yet, as far as like as a martial artist. Because even with Jamie Pickett, we went 3 rounds, but he would grab me every single time we would engage into back and forth action, and he would just grab me and put me on the fence. And then with Jun Young Park, he was just so sound in his technique that when I just started tagging him, he just was able to secure his technique that he obviously had been working for a long time. So with him, I think when I tag him, he's going to try and land something else, or have been trying to set something up, and maybe I just have the advantage in speed at that second, so I'll have more opportunities to land more, and then possibly put him away.
In the park fight, do you feel like you learned more from like the in-fight decision making coming out of that fight? Like you could look at that fight and say, yeah, maybe, if I made this decision at this moment and then if it comes up again in the future, I can make a better decision. Is that something that you see?
Yeah, I mean, after that fight, I went when I got back to training. I was working on some specific things that I noticed, or like habitual things that I noticed I kept doing, that would put me in like such a terrible position, like that 50-50 clinch. Like that's not even like a place where I like to work, things that I do. So the fact that I went there multiple times against John Young Park was an obvious adjustment I needed to make. Because I did it against Jamie Pickett too. It was just something I was doing against people when they would overwhelm me. I would just over under them, and I'm not even a fucking wrestler. So definitely had to go back and make some adjustments, and I think I did those, and I'm pretty excited to show them.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's all about, we always say it's cliche. It's about evolution and learning and, learning from your mistakes and all of that stuff. But it is true because sometimes you watch fights and you're like, why is this dude sitting in that position for this long? People, I'm pretty sure you've screamed at this TV from time to time, like, what are you
Scream to my
doing?
damn self. No, for sure.
Yeah. Um, Ribeiro, man, he finished his contenders fight in 25 seconds, and then he goes and makes his debut and gets finished in the second round. Can you learn from those fights about him? Of course, we know that he wants to bang with you, but other outside of that.
Yeah, I mean, my coaches, because I just got 2 new coaches out at War. Well, really 3, but 2 coaches. One's just like he holds mitts for me and like gives me info from them. So really 3. But anyway, I'm with War, and when we got his name, they went back and did all their studying and stuff, and brought me information that I was able to see very obviously about him through watching his fights and stuff. And yeah, I think he makes a lot of mistakes just thinking that he's like going to be stronger than everyone, or going to be, more violent than everyone he meets. Like, a lot of times he starts the fight just throwing like a bunch of blank leg kicks, like not set up, nothing coming behind him, just thinking he's just like a bully or something, like, oh, well, boom, boom, boom. And no, man, I've been fighting as long as he has, if not longer. So that shit's not going to work here. And that's something we learned from watching his last couple fights. And against Razak, like Razak didn't do anything spectacular. He just found his timing and came right over the top of him and put him out in the second. And that's like that. He knocked him out with things that he does in every single fight. Like Claudio does those hooks that he, or the combo he was trying to throw against Razak when he got knocked out against everybody he's fought. So it's still going to be there, even if he's worked on something new. So
Yeah, Razak, he fights the same way. It's almost they're kind of mirror images of each other. They're kind
I
of
know.
wild. Yeah, it was like who lands first, basically. and in the
Yeah,
right
and those
spot.
leg kicks were landing first, so Razak was just eating them
Yeah,
shits.
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now, you mentioned War, man. How did you connect with them?
It was Iridium, man. Not just Iridium. It was. I have a friend Jimmy too. I was in like a small depression after my fight against John Young Park, kind of around the holidays, like around like Christmas after Thanksgiving, and I remember just getting text after text from my friend Jimmy, like, "Hey man, I reached out to Jeremy Mahone. He's the one that owns War. He said he can't wait to meet you." And I'm like thinking like I never even said I was gonna meet this guy, and but he just kept on it like every week, once or twice a week, like, "Hey, I'm still talking to Jeremy. He said he's ready for you to give him a call whenever." And I think like 3 weeks into December, I finally gave him a call, and he was just like, "Hey, Joseph, just welcomed me with open arms." So I came in, took a visit out here. Trevin Giles was here. Alex Morano was here. Zach Reese was here. A couple other guys who aren't big names but big guys, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome work." So I've been here ever since. I've been here um, probably about 4 months, 4 or 5 months now.
So
Yeah, I love it here.
those are the guys kind of giving you the main sparring rounds for this camp.
Yeah, yeah, those have been my main. Oh, Anthony Ivy as well, who
Okay.
is a UFC vet, but he's on the local scene now. Yeah, dude, I've been getting some awesome work out here.
Yeah, three totally different styles as well. You know what I mean? Like Ivy's
Hmm.
pretty good on the ground. So is Alex as well. You know what I mean? Giles a little bit more of a striker, right? But
Hmm.
yeah, man, very experienced guys too.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, like the whole camp long, these guys have just been in my ear, giving me pointers, mimicking my opponent, and just trying to help me put everything together. Because we've been kind of working on a lot as far as like fixing my style. Not like big things, but just like a lot of small things, like footwork. Like posting more after my combinations and throwing more combinations and stuff. So.
Is it a smaller team? Do you like that environment of having a little bit less people in the room?
In comparison to Glory,
Yeah, yeah.
uh, it is smaller in comparison to Glory, but I think if you really separate things, like as far as like weight classes, it's about the same
Oh,
size. I only had like five tops guys over there, and it was about the same, like two UFC, like two local, and one, like amateur who's just really good. That's about the same as when I was there.
after your last fight against Park, you had a few unforeseen circumstances play out in your life. Basically, your coach, you know what I mean, he got into some things, and then you had that situation with Kevin Holland. How was it handling all of that while coming off a loss as well? Was it pretty taxing on you?
Yeah, no, it put me in a hole. It put me in a really deep hole. Like I didn't want to go out. Separate things, separated by about 2, 3 months, but still, like with crowds for starters, like it put me in a place where I didn't know what was next for me. Like, obviously I'm getting like weird threats and on social media, like, oh, you're cut from the UFC now because you're with that guy. Weird things like that, and just a lot of uncertainty and change. And yeah, it definitely put me in a deep hole every time I'd leave the house, like, and see people, like, first thing they're saying is, "Oh, when are you fighting again?" And I'm like, "Shit, I don't even got a coach. You're talking to me about fighting, like, fuck, excuse me." But yeah, and then that stuff with Kevin, same thing. Like, it kind of makes like the last few events I've had to coach and or commentate because I commentate local events in my city. I've been nervous, like thinking that I'm gonna, get snuck from behind, or Kevin's gonna be there and he's gonna start something. And he was again after that incident. I did run into him again since that incident, and he did try and start stuff with me. So it just made it even worse. So I recently got my license to carry. Like I'm just not playing around with these guys anymore because I was already assaulted in the middle of a very high end hotel, and nobody did anything about it, just to continue to run into this guy, and they just let him do whatever he wants. So, yeah, it kind of has affected my personal life, and, I'm just trying to fight, man, on contracts and just get my money and do my job. I don't even got time for that stuff.
It seems like it's a habitual behavior by Kevin Holland because he was in Miami doing the same thing to Jorge Masvidal. It's just
And I ain't the type of guy to talk smack about people, but ever since I've known the guy in his camp, because we're both from Dallas, I was literally at the eye doctor the other day, and my eye doctor asked me about him. So we're very close to each other as far as where we're from. And ever since I've known about them, they start stuff at fights or they're involved with stuff at fights. I think his defense for jumping me in the hotel lobby was that my school tried to jump him years ago or something. And I went back and asked my team about it, and they were like, "You weren't even there. It wasn't even like that." And I'm just like, "Okay, I don't even know anything about this stuff."
it's wild, man, wild. Now, man, just going back to you, man, and your training and your preparations. Are you working with any other like gyms or coaches outside of War?
Just my head coach still, just still in Dallas. I come out to War 2 to 3 times a week and work with them. And today, Uh, I came out to stay the night. I usually just come in the morning and go back home, but I'm staying in Houston today, and I just finished my second workout with them now. So yeah, just trying to just make the sacrifices I can make to like feel confident. Feel like I've lost enough in training to go in there and bite down and be fearless.
Man, we've been talking. I don't even know how many years now, and I remember even when we first started talking, you were trying to find the perfect combination. That's why you were going out to Glory and mixing it with your head coach, your original coach, and now you're doing the same thing again. And
Hmm.
maybe the second time around, it's a little bit easier for you to kind of get comfortable with everything and the people around you, and because you experienced it already.
Yeah, no, I did feel, as far as like getting comfortable coming in the gym and working with new people, it did feel pretty easy. Plus, I feel like they welcomed me with open arms. I'm a new body, I'm at a high level, so but yeah, I think that experience with Glory did definitely help me moving forward and to make those necessary steps and like go outside my comfort zone because for the longest time it was just me and my head coach, me and Anthony Slang saying, and I was totally okay with that. I actually preferred that. And now Jason House, he put it in my head like, we want you to have a bunch of eyes looking at you, giving you advice, the right advice, and you have options of routes you can go. And he put that in my head, and I was like, that's a great point. So this will be my first time having not one, not two, but three coaches in my corner. And man, nervous but super excited, and just really intrigued to see what that does to my style. If that helps me put more output and volume out there or whatever. So I'm excited.
Yeah, man. I'm excited to see what you got, man. So, what are you expecting out of yourself against the
I
Hibero?
think that I can knock him out, dude. I've been working on my footwork, and like obviously from Glory and like this last year and a half or so, I have gotten a lot better with my range and picking the right attacks as if they're straights or if they're knees and things like that. But now like I've added in like so much footwork, that I didn't realize I was missing at first. And like just in my sparring rounds alone, which I named a few of the guys that I am sparring with, like I'm seeing more success. I'm seeing things that I wasn't able to do then or months ago that I'm doing now, and even getting like audible feedback from them of them saying like, "Man, dude, like your jabs is getting a lot more sharper, and you're just like staying out of the way, and blah blah blah." So yeah, I'm super duper like I'm just like so dialed in right now as far as like doing what I'm supposed to do, and like every fight I've gotten more like mentally strong, I feel, as far as like handling the nerves and showing up and doing what I'm supposed to do. When I hear him call it in the octagon, doing it, things like that. So I think that with this fight having three coaches, I think that I'll be able to really, really put on.
There you go, man. April 6th, UFC 288, Newark.
May.
Uh, oh, sorry. May
It's
6th.
okay.
May 6th. I get it confused, man, sometimes. May 6th, UFC 288, Newark, New Jersey. Make sure you guys follow Joseph Holmes on social media, Ugly Man Joe. Thank you so much for the time, Joe, and we'll speak soon, man. All the best.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, John. Appreciate your time, brother.